YouTube! So, oh my god, I can't even begin to explain to you how many books I have right now that I have not read and how it's just so many. It's just too many. I can't possibly read these books this fast, but book haul time. Gonna show you all the new ones that I added this month. Okay, so the first couple books are just ones that I randomly bought myself for whatever reason. So first is Veronica Mars' The $1,000 Tan Line by Rob Thomas and Jennifer Graham. This is one of the official companion novels to the Veronica Mars series that came out kind of recently, and then there's another one coming out in a couple of months or something like that. I haven't read this yet, but I'm so pumped about this. I very recently marathoned all of Veronica Mars and then watched the movie, and I absolutely fell in love with it, so I cannot wait to read this because I've heard it's really good. The next thing I bought was The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I bought this because I heard people talking about it because it was the Booksplosion book last month or the month before or something. I don't know. I haven't read it yet, so I obviously didn't participate in Booksplosion, but it looked so cool and it has such a pretty cover because it has this little cutout and then it has the art on the inside. It just looks so awesome. And the premise is great, and so I just cannot wait to read this. Then on a recent trip to Barnes & Noble with my friend Mallory, I bought This Is What Happy Looks Like by Jennifer E. Smith. Again, I have not read it yet, but I just loved the cover. It had pretty good reviews, and I just couldn't leave Barnes & Noble without buying at least one thing. Then the local Half Price Books was having this sale where everything in the store was 20% off, so I obviously couldn't stay away. So I grabbed a bunch of books that were already only like $5 or $6, and then on top of that had 20% off, which was amazing. This is sort of what got me in so much trouble with how many books I have in my TBR pile. But this is what I got. I got Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I don't really know anything about this book, but it looks really good, so I got it. The next thing I got was Unholy by Neal Shusterman. So I read Unwind by Neal Shusterman years ago and I loved it. It's one of the books that had these horrifying visual images that I have not been able to get out of my head since then, but like in a good way, not in a bad way. I mean, it was really creepy and it horrified me, but it was so visceral and real that it just like, I love that book for that reason. I didn't know that there was a sequel. I don't know when that happened or what I was doing when the sequel came out, but I bought the sequel and I'm really excited. I probably have to go back and read Unwind again to like fully appreciate. I mean, I remember approximately what happened at the end, but I just cannot wait to read this because I didn't know it existed. Then I got this. It's Wither by Lauren DiStefano? One of those. I didn't really know that much about this one. I'd never heard of it before, but it sounded really cool. It's a world where males die at age 25 and females die at age 20, and so obviously that changes things a little bit. I've read a lot of dystopian novels lately, and I'm not gonna say I'm like over them, because I think it can still be done really well, and I'm hoping that this was one of them and it had pretty good reviews, so I gave it a chance. And then my same book friend Mallory talked me into getting Delirium by Lauren Oliver. I've been told to not worry about the sequels, so I'm at least gonna give this one a try. If you haven't read this yet, it's about a world where they have cured love. They found a cure, and so you don't have to fall in love anymore, which sounds horrible, so I don't know why I'm gonna do that, but I guess that's why you gotta read it. So I've heard really good things about this book, and so I picked it up because, again, it was cheap. The last 3 books in my book haul for this month I got from Penguin. They let me pick from a list of some of their upcoming releases every couple of months, and so thank you for doing that because it's let me try some books I wouldn't otherwise have known about. The first one is All the Truth That's in Me by Julie Berry. I obviously picked this out of a list, so it must have sounded interesting to me for some reason, but the back doesn't really tell you anything about it, and I don't remember anything about this book. But I really like the cover. Oh wait, her words could ruin him, but her silence will destroy them both. I can't wait to read it. Next up is Belzar by Meg Wolitzer. Again, I don't know a lot about this book, but I do know it's about a girl who goes to a boarding school that solely studies Sylvia Plath. I don't know why or how, but there you go. This is another book with a really cool cover, and I'm really excited to read it. I don't know, maybe it's just because I grew up reading Harry Potter, but I really like books where kids go to boarding school. Probably because it's a life experience that I never had. It's so different from my own, and it just sounds so fun. It just sounds like sleepaway camp all the time, and so I'm always excited when books have that element in them. The very last book is Schizo by Nick Sheff. I love the cover of this book. It's kind of like trippy. It kind of feels like you need to adjust your screen settings, doesn't it? This is a book about a boy whose younger brother, I believe, goes missing, and it's a whole sort of investigation on where he went and what happened, but the main character is schizophrenic and I believe takes a bunch of pills and things, and so he's a very unreliable narrator. You're seeing this whole story through his sort of warped and distorted perception of what's going on. That sounds really interesting to me. I really like books that have unreliable narrators. I think it just takes the reading experience to another level, and it can be done really well, and I've heard pretty good things about this book, so this is one that I'm super pumped to read. I think I've said that about literally every book I've held up in this video. Book hauls are hard, because what else could you say aside from, this looked cool, so I bought it, and now I can't wait to read it. Just a bunch of different variations on that. But anyway, these are the books that I got this month. So this is a thing that booktubers do. They always hold all the books in the videos. I always wait until later to get my thumbnail, but I'm gonna do it now. Compared to other book hauls I've seen, this is actually a pretty modest stack. So this actually isn't very difficult. There you go, there's my stack. Here are my books. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you've read any of these books down in the comments below, or any books you're reading now that you think I would like, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.